Hello, dear souls, and welcome to Stillness Unfolded. I'm thrilled you're here with me in this quiet haven where we explore life's hidden truths. Today, we're stepping into the mystery of growing older. But here's a secret to spark your curiosity: what if the greatest gift of aging isn't lost in the youth we've left, but in the stillness it's guiding us to? We chase dreams that gleam like far-off lights, racing against clocks that growl louder each year until we pause. We see our reflection, lines tracing a face we barely know, a body humming a slower song, and a question rises: what's left for me in this stillness? This isn't just about silver hair or trembling hands, it's the quiet blooming beneath, heart softening, eyes seeing past the rush into something timeless. Through Buddhist wisdom, growing older shifts from fading to a path of stillness, a shedding of noise to touch something whole. I've walked this way for years, writing books, sharing the Buddha's teachings, and I've learned the secret gift isn't in fighting time or grieving what's gone. It's in the courage to release and embrace the peace waiting within. This video is a lantern glowing in the dusk, rich with insights from impermanence's flow to purpose in quiet years. Watch it through to catch every ray. If it stirs you, please leave a like, subscribe to Stillness Unfolded, and share your thoughts below. Your voice helps us weave more journeys like this, lighting the way for others. Let's uncover this secret together, because the truest peace isn't behind us, it's unfolding right here, now. Part 1: The River of Impermanence. When we're young, time unfolds like a boundless sea, its waves lapping at the edges of our dreams. We craft castles in the clouds, visions of love that will endure, victories that will shine, a tomorrow we trust will kneel patiently at our feet. But as the years gather like fallen leaves in a quiet forest, a truth emerges from the haze: time isn't a tranquil lake where we can dip our toes at will. It's a river, wild and relentless, etching its course through the granite of our days. The Buddha called this anaxa impermanence, the soft, ceaseless rhythm that hums beneath all we know. Blossoms wither, tides retreat, the laughter we once held close fades into whispers on the wind. And yet, how often do we stand against it? We clutch yesterday's light as if it were a jewel to lock away, or armor ourselves against the unseen shapes of tomorrow, as if our fists could halt the flow. I once shared a moment with a man beside a crumbling temple along the Mekong's muddy banks in Vietnam. His hair spilled white as frost over a rugged cliff, but his gaze flickered with a defiance time couldn't tame. He spoke of a life woven with bold threads, a business that roared with promise, a family that filled his home with noise and warmth, a fortress he believed would stand forever. Then a flood came, both of water and destiny, tearing it all apart in a single, merciless night. I cursed the river, he murmured, his voice a breeze across still water. But one dawn, I sat and watched it rush past. I saw myself in its dance, not broken, but alive, a fleeting wave in its endless song. His laughter broke free, sharp and bright, ringing like a bell across the temple stones. Now, I let it carry me. Buddhism reveals that our pain springs from clinging to the bloom of youth, to the mirage of control, to the myth of permanence. But what if we unfurled our hands? What if, rather than battling the river's tide, we let it sweep us toward horizons we've yet to dream? There's a story I hold close: a monk, fleeing a tiger's snapping jaws, dangles from a vine above a chasm. Above, the predator prowls; below, rocks jut like teeth waiting to bite. Yet in that heartbeat, he spies a strawberry, plump and crimson, clinging to the vine. He picks it, lets its juice flood his tongue, and smiles. Why? Because even there, teetering on the edge of oblivion, the now cradled him with a tender gift. I've walked this path too. As a writer, I once raced after stories with a hunger that stole my breath, deadlines stacking like boulders, ideas darting like fish through a torn net. Now, in the softer ebb of my later years, I sit with a cup of tea, tracing the steam as it twists upward like a prayer. That pause fills me. It's enough. It's all there is. And here's a secret to tease your thoughts. The fourth silent gift of impermanence isn't the years that slip away, it's the way the edges of life glow when you stop chasing. So, tell me, what's your strawberry today? What tiny sweetness roots you in this vanishing moment? Share it below. I'd love to hear the ripples of your now. Part 2. The body as a temple in time. Our bodies are living scrolls, inscribed with the tales of our years. Once, they sprang like deer across sunlit meadows, bore us through nights of wild laughter and untamed dreams, fierce and free as a gale racing over the plains. Now, they groan as dawn spills through the window, stiff as the rusted hinges of a forgotten gate. We notice the quiet rebellions, a knee that mutters complaints on the stairs, a name that flutters just beyond the grasp of recall, a spine that exhales a weary sigh after a day's humble toil. It's easy to mourn what's drifted away, to see the body as a dwelling sagging beneath the relentless press of time. But what if it's not a wreck at all? What if it's a temple, weathered by seasons yet sanctified by their touch? Imagine a bamboo stalk rising in a forest hollow. In its tender days, it bows to every whisper of wind, its green limbs lithe and eager, swaying in harmony with the earth's breath. As years carve their mark, it stiffens, its roots clawing deep into the soil's embrace. It no longer bends as it once did, but it endures, a silent sentinel, bearing witness to tempests it has outlasted. Our bodies echo this steadfast grace. I remember my grandfather, his hands gnarled like the roots of an ancient oak, shaped by decades of coaxing life from wood. The chisel slipped from his grip in time, but those hands clasped mine, guiding me to feel the pulse within the grain, to hear the timber's story. His vigor didn't fade, it softened into a wisdom that needed no blade. There's a tale I treasure of a warrior, once swift as a hawk slicing through the sky, his sword a flash of well-made steel. Age dulled his stride, and a young rival jeered, doubting the old man's fire. The warrior didn't lash out in anger. He moved like a river's current, gliding past each strike until the youth crumpled, panting in awe. "Strength isn't haste," he said, his voice firm as bedrock. "It's knowing when to stand still." That lesson rooted itself in me. When my own body began to protest, years bent over manuscripts leaving my shoulders heavy, I didn't resist. I slowed my pace, tracing paths where dew gleamed like scattered pearls on leaves, where crickets wove their song into the twilight. My body wasn't breaking, it was beckoning me to pause, to see the world I'd once sped through. So, revere your temple. Those lines etched upon your skin are the script of 1,000 joys, those deliberate steps, an invitation to feel the ground's heartbeat beneath you. Strength doesn't vanish, it cloaks itself in a new garb, spun from patience and quiet dignity. I've learned this too, watching my own hands tremble as they lift a teacup, yet finding beauty in their steady arcade dance, slower but no less alive. And here's a thought to stir your wonder: the fourth silent gift of this temple isn't the youth it once held, it's the way it teaches you to listen when the world grows still. Your body hasn't forsaken you, it's murmuring a story deeper than motion, one of presence, of being, of a sanctity time cannot erode. Part 3. The Echoes of Loneliness. Aging can feel like a world curling inward, its edges fraying with each passing season. Friends slip beyond our grasp, carried away by the tides of time or the pull of distant lands. Family circles tighten, leaving chairs vacant where once there was a chorus of voices. The silence falls heavy, like dusk draping itself over a weary earth, thick with an ache that lingers. I've tasted this myself, nights when my home stretched too wide, its walls standing mute as sentinels, the absence of chatter pressing against my chest like a stone I couldn't shift. Loneliness isn't just the stillness of being alone, it's the sting of severance, the creeping dread that we've been cast adrift on a sea where every tie is dissolving into mist. But Buddhism hums a softer truth: we are never wholly solitary. I once crossed paths with a nun in a forest hermitage, her days a quiet melody woven through the pines that stretched tall as temple spires. "Don't you yearn for others?" I asked, my voice threading through the stillness. She smiled, her gaze following a sparrow as it flitted through the lattice of branches. "That's my companion today," she said, her tone as light as a leaf on the wind. "Tomorrow, it might be the rain drumming its song on my roof." Her words settled into me like seeds in fertile soil. Connection isn't chained to human hands or voices. It's in the murmur of leaves stirred by a breeze, the sun's gentle palm resting on your skin, the world's breath rising and falling in step with your own. I've seen this mend broken threads in others. A widow I knew, her home hollowed by loss, found refuge among her roses. She spoke to them as if they were old friends, sharing secrets with each bud, and in their slow bloom, she uncovered a quiet kinship. Another man, a fisherman whose nets hung idle with age, took to feeding stray dogs along the shore. Their eager yips greeted him at dawn, weaving him back into the tapestry of days with tails wagging like metronomes of joy. These are humble acts, yet they stitch us to a fabric far vaster than ourselves. Loneliness isn't a cage, it's a summons. It calls us to peer past the quiet, to hear the world's subtle symphony. I've felt this shift in my own bones, perched by a window as rain streaks the glass like tears shed for no one. Each drop taps a rhythm, and suddenly I'm not so alone. The storm becomes my guest, its voice a companion. There's a tale in Buddhist lore of a monk who sat beneath a tree, forsaken by all he'd known, only to find the wind whispering truths through the branches. That's the gift hidden here. And here's a whisper to pique your curiosity: the fourth silent echo of loneliness isn't the emptiness you feel, it's the way the world reaches back when you dare to listen. So, I ask you, what unexpected thread has warmed your heart lately? A bird's song, a stranger's nod? Share it below. Let's gather the small miracles that tether us still. Part 4. The weight of what might have been. Regret is the shadow that dogs our steps into age, a silent companion that nests in the hush of twilight hours. It murmurs of roads we never wandered, words we left unspoken, dreams folded away like letters sealed but never mailed. I've felt its tug nights when I've lain awake, tracing the contours of a life I might have shaped. Once, I saw myself drifting across the earth, a notebook as my compass, gathering tales from the dim glow of alleyways and the golden crests of mountains kissed by dawn. But duty sang a louder song, bills stacking like stones, a family to cradle, and that vision slipped away, its lines smudged like ink caught in a sudden downpour. Does it haunt me still? Sometimes, like a breeze stirring ashes long cold. Yet a Buddhist proverb lifts me from that drift: the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. I once knew a woman, a painter whose hands quivered with the weight of years but blazed with an unyielding fire. Since she was a girl, she'd dreamed of brushes and colors, sketching rivers in the quiet of her mind while she stitched a life for others' children to raise, a home to mend. At 75, she claimed a canvas, her first strokes trembling like a sapling in the wind. "I'm not too late," she said, her voice a spark of defiant delight. "I'm waking up." Soon, her cramped room overflowed with paintings, sunsets melting into rivers, horizons aflame with hues she'd held inside for decades. Her work was a testament: regret can bloom into beauty if we dare to water it with action. Regret isn't a prison, it's a guidepost. It whispers of what still flickers in the embers of our hearts. I picked up my pen again, not for the applause of crowds, but for the soft thrill of ink bleeding across a page. The words flow slower now, each one heavy with the seasons I've walked through, and in their cadence, I find a joy I'd forgotten. You can claim this too. That melody you never hummed, that path you set aside, why not weave it into today? The past is a wisp of smoke, but the present is a canvas, stretched wide and patient, awaiting your mark. I've seen it in others: a man who, at 60, learned the guitar's strings, his halting chords a hymn to dreams reborn; a woman who penned her first poem at 80, her verses sharp with a lifetime's unspoken truths. There's a Buddhist tale of a monk who wept for years wasted, only to hear his master ask, "When does the lotus bloom?" "When the mud clears," he replied. "And when does the mud clear?" "Now," the master smiled. "That's the secret regret hides." And here's a thought to tease your soul: the fourth quiet echo of regret isn't the chance you missed, it's the courage you've yet to summon, waiting like a seed beneath the frost. What stirs in you still? That book you meant to write, that apology you owe today holds the brush. The past drifts like a dream half remembered, but this moment is yours to shape, a page turned fresh and bold. Part 5: Purpose in the Quiet Years. We're taught to weigh our value in motion, diplomas hung like trophies, titles etched into the polished wood of desks, endless lists slashed with triumphant checks. Then age sweeps in, dismantling the framework of busyness we've clung to. Retirement empties the hours, and a question rises like smoke in the stillness: who am I when the clamor of work fades? I felt this keenly when I laid down my teaching robes, the tools of a life spent shaping minds. The silence thundered, a chasm where purpose once blazed, until I glimpsed a truth: purpose isn't a tally of tasks scratched into stone. It's the art of being, alive and unguarded, in the tender expanse of now. A farmer I once knew, his hands too brittle to break the earth, discovered fields beyond the plow. Beneath the sprawling arms of a mango tree, he gathered children, weaving stories of rice fields silvered by rain, of monsoons that bellowed like dragons across the hills. Their eyes shone, wide as moons, drinking in his words. He no longer reaped harvests of grain, but he sowed seeds of marvel. Purpose doesn't dim, it bends like sunlight through a crystal, casting new colors. I've found mine in these lines, in the fragile hope they might drift into your world, a quiet gift from the stillness of my later days. The Buddha taught that our calling is to live with full hearts, to spill ourselves into the great chalice of existence. That's not chained to accolades or labor, it's in the wisdom we scatter, the kindness we let linger like fragrance on the breeze. A friend once shared of her grandmother, her hands too weak to stir the pots of old feasts, who passed her recipes to a neighbor's child. The kitchen sang again, not with her stirring, but with her echo, a legacy kneaded into dough, savored in every bite. Purpose isn't what we build with our hands, it's what we breathe into the spaces around us. So, settle into your sufficiency. You're not a shadow of yesterday's toil or a sketch of tomorrow's schemes. You're here, your breath a soft tide, your presence a thread in life's vast weave. That's enough. I've seen it in my own slowing steps, each one a chance to offer a smile, a word, a moment. That's the core of it. You, simply being, are the purpose that endures. Growing older isn't a curtain closing, it's a veil lifting, a slow revelation of the stillness we've carried within us all along. The years don't steal us away, they refine us, like wind smoothing stone into something timeless. You're not slipping into shadow, you're stepping into a peace that only time can unveil. The secret gift isn't lost in the past, it's alive in the breath you take this moment, in the stillness you choose today. Dear friends of Stillness Unfolded, thank you for traveling this path with me. We've wandered through the river of change, honored the body's sacred tale, listened to loneliness's soft call, turned regret into a guide, and found purpose in the hush of these years. This isn't just a video, it's a mirror reflecting the quiet beauty of our shared journey. Did it awaken something in you? Then let's keep this light burning. If these words touched you, I'd be so grateful for a like and a subscription to Stillness Unfolded. Share your thoughts below. What's the secret gift growing older has offered you? Your reflections weave this community, helping us bring more mindful stories to life. This journey is rich with layers, every moment a thread in a tapestry of stillness. If you've stayed to the end, you've grasped its full weave, and I honor your presence here. Let's make Stillness Unfolded a haven where aging isn't a burden, but a gift, a place where we embrace the peace that time reveals. Carry this with you. The secret gift of these years isn't what you've surrendered, it's the stillness that blooms when you finally rest in now. Until our next meeting, dear ones, live gently, live fully. See you soon.